Hello, everyone, and welcome to my B1 Low Intermediate English course. In this module, you will learn when to use present perfect versus when to use the past simple. So we'll look at all the uses and everything. So at the end, you will get to practice what you just learned with a few sample exercises. Let's get started. All right, so we'll look here at this table. Um, so I'll explain an overview about the uses here. You've probably seen this in a previous level here, but this will go into more detail. So for present perfect, we don't say when something happened. It's been finished recently. We just don't know when. So for example, I've finished my essay. It's done now. Or he has left. He is not here now. And then also we mention a past experience or a recent event. For example, uh, we'll say, I've broken my arm, or they have traveled a lot. Now, they're not saying when here, but it's recent. And then an unfinished time. For example, he has lived in Japan for years. Uh, this means he still lives there. Now, the past simple, we use this when we say or ask when something happened. Um, for example, when did you finish your essay? Um, so we're asking about details here. Or we've got he left after the game. So this doesn't say when, but here we're saying after the game. So it's a specific time. Okay, also, past simple is for when we ask about or give the details of something. So, um, for this one, I've broken my arm. Doesn't say how or when. So, I've broken my arm. Now, for past simple, how did it happen? I fell in the park. Whoa. All right. And then past simple is for a finished time. So, where it says he has lived in Japan for years, he still lives there. Here, it's the same thing. He lived in Japan for years. This means he does not live in Japan now. So that's a finished time or action. Okay, all right. So the present perfect form. So as you have learned from a previous course, the present perfect is formed as. So we've got have or has plus the past participle of a verb. So we'll see these. We have seen that movie before. Or he has taken his English exam. All right, so let's look at these present perfect short forms, also contractions. That's what these are. So has, um, like say with any subject like third person, we have he's, so he apostrophe s, taken his English exam. And then have is just apostrophe ve. So we've got we've seen that movie before. Um, and then have not is shortened to haven't. They haven't found a home yet. Okay, now short forms, note that these are not used in positive short answers. So we've got, have you washed the dishes yet? Yes, I've. Or yes, I have. So we can't say yes, I've. Doesn't sound right. Okay, let's talk about the use here of present perfect. So we use it for past events when the time is not mentioned. So we use the present perfect to talk about past actions or events when the time is not mentioned. For instance, we don't say when these events happen. So, for example, I've broken my ankle. She has passed the exam. or else he's found a job. See, it doesn't say when. All right. We also use just, already, and yet. Okay, so we often use the present perfect with these words here. We can use just after the verb have to emphasize that these events are very recent. Okay, so let's look. Tony has just called. So this is very recent here. We use already in positive sentences to talk about actions that we've completed sooner than we expected. Already goes after the verb have. So, for example, she has already finished her homework. So she finished it sooner than expected. Okay, we use yet in negative sentences and questions to talk about things that we expect to happen soon. All right, so yet goes at the end of the sentence most often. Okay, so for example, have you finished your homework yet? Or we can say, I haven't finished my homework yet. Or, no, I haven't. So, all right. Okay, recently. So we often use the present perfect with recently to talk about past recent actions. So I'll show you this one. They've recently bought a new car. So this can come before the verb. Sometimes it comes after, like this one. She has gone to several parties recently. Okay, and then there's today, this week, this month, this year. Okay, so we can use the present perfect with time expressions like these when the time we mention has not finished. So, for example, I have seen John today. Basically means so far, today has not finished. And then, has she called you this week? So this means, well, she still might call. The week isn't finished, probably. So yeah. All right. Okay. Past experiences using never, ever, or before. So we use the present perfect to talk about past experiences when we don't say or we don't know when something happened. We just had the experience. All right. So we have this one. He has been to the moon. He's an astronaut. Or there's this one. I've been to Japan, but I haven't been to India. So yes, we don't know when they happen. Okay, we often use the words never, ever, or before to talk about experiences. So we have this one. I have never read this book. So that's negative. Never had this experience. And then there's have you ever seen a John Wayne film? Or there's this one, I haven't experienced anything like this before. So, so when you're asking a question, you can use the word before, or if you can say you have or haven't done something, uh, whatever it is, use it with before, after. I mean, at the end of the sentence. All right. Okay. Let's talk about this one. The best thing I've ever done. We can use the present perfect with a superlative adjective and ever. All right, for example, this is the best meal I've ever had. Okay, so superlative best. So that this one's irregular. We've got good, better, and best. And then this one, it's the most amazing place we've ever traveled to. So, yeah, because this adjective here has two or more syllables, we use most for the superlative. All right. Let's talk about how many times. We can also use the present perfect to say how many times something has happened until now. So, for example, I've watched this film 3 times. We have been to Italy twice, right? Or he's traveled around the world once. So, so yes, uh, we're not saying when, we're just saying how many times up until now. Okay, okay, then we have gone to or have been to, which one to use. We say someone has gone somewhere when this person is still away, and we say someone has been somewhere when this person has already come back from that place. So we have Tom has gone to Ireland. He'll be there for a couple of weeks. So this means he is in Ireland right now. Then there's this one. We have been to Austria 3 times. We love it there. So we've been there, but that means these were occasions, but we're not in Austria now. Okay. Okay, we've got duration from the past until now, using for and since. Okay, we can use the present perfect with for, since, and how long to ask or talk about situations that started in the past and have not finished. So we have lived in this house for 25 years. So this means so far, and we still live in this house. I've had this watch since I was a kid. So that's how long I've had it, and I still have this watch. Okay, and then there's how long have you been friends? Okay, let's compare these sentences here. We've been married for 20 years. So basically, this means we are still married. And then we were married for 20 years. Then we divorced. Okay, that obviously means we're not married now, according to this. Okay, now we've got for plus a period of time or since and a moment in the past. So we use for plus a period of time, 2 hours, 3 days, 10 years, and so on. And we use since plus the moment in the past when something started. So, for example, I've been here for hours, or she has been my teacher for 3 years. Okay, so we've got duration of time here, or period of time. I've been unemployed since May. Okay, so since when the moment something started, unemployed. And then I've lived in this town since I was born. All right, let's talk about lately, all morning or all day, year, etc. Okay, we can also use the present perfect with lately or with all plus a period of time, all day, all morning, all my life, etc., to talk about actions that started in the past and continue in the present. Okay, so let's look at these. She has been with me all day. So, so yes, it started at the beginning and it still continues. Or I have been very busy lately. So that means I'm still busy. All right. Note here that we don't use ago. We can't use ago with the present perfect. So if we say I've had my watch since 2 years ago, that doesn't sound right. So we would say I've had my watch for 2 years, because ago is for when we use past simple. Okay, speaking of which, when do we use past simple or present perfect? Okay, so first we ask when did it happen? So I finished my essay, right? This is, um, we know that we didn't say any time, but we want to know, so we ask, when did you finish your essay, right? Or he has left, he's not here now. We saw this in the table before. Um, and then he left when? After the game. So this tells the time. Um, or I didn't go to work yesterday. All right. So, okay. So we use the present perfect, not the past simple, to talk about past experiences and actions when we don't say or don't know when they happen. So we have, I've lost my keys, or we've been to a very nice restaurant. So we're not saying when here. And then we use the past simple, but not the present perfect when we mention or ask about when something happened or when the time is known by the speaker and the listener. We often use a past expression like last week, yesterday, when I was a child, or any time like that. Okay, so a couple examples will show what's incorrect and what's correct. We've arrived in New York yesterday, and then we arrived in New York yesterday. So we can't say use yesterday here if we're using the present perfect, only in past simple. And then when has the accident happened versus when did the accident happen? All right, so when asking here the question about when something happened, we can't use the present perfect. We would use did. Um, all right, well, let's move on to a few sample exercises and test our knowledge here. I know that was a lot to take in. Okay, so from the drop-down menu, we'll choose the either past simple or present perfect here. Okay, so number one, did you finish or have you finished painting the bedroom yet? Not yet. I'll finish it tomorrow. Okay, so for yet we know it's present perfect. So the bottom, have you finished? That would be correct. Okay, number two. Okay, so I didn't earn or haven't earned much last year. Right, so because we have a time expression, last and year, what do we use? Okay, so that would be didn't earn, the first one. Yes. Okay, but I a lot this year. Okay, so talking about when a time is uh, is still continuing, it hasn't ended yet. So then, which do we use? Okay, would it be the top one? I've earned a lot this year. It would. It would be the present perfect. All right, three. So a holiday recently. Did you have or have you had a holiday recently? Okay, so with recently, remember what we used? Okay, so if you chose the bottom one, have you had? That would be correct. Okay, how about number four? So we arrived or have arrived last week. So because we've got the time expression last week or whatever, which one would you use? All right, if you chose the top one, arrive, that would be correct. Past simple. Okay, and then we were or have been here for 5 days. Okay, we're talking about a time duration from when it started up until now, so for 5 days so far. Okay, so if you chose the bottom one, have been, that would be correct. All right, let's look at exercise 2 real quick. Oh, this one's multiple choice. Okay, so Mary isn't here. She to Egypt. I to Egypt. Okay, two people talking. Okay, so we've got has gone, have never gone, has gone, have never been, or went, have never gone. Okay, so we know the first one is has gone, right? Okay, so let's if we choose option B, I think that would be the best. So she has gone to Egypt. I have never been to Egypt. All right, because that means never had the experience. All right, number 2. So I've got I, my arm. I, it, playing with my cousin. Okay, this is giving the details here, how I broke my arm. Okay, okay, so have broken, broke, have broken, or broke, have broken. Okay, so if you chose option A, have broken and broke, you would be correct. All right, 3, a ghost. Have you ever seen, did you ever see, or have you ever see? All right, asking a question using ever. Well, we know it's present perfect, right? All right, so if you chose the first one, have you ever seen, that would be correct. Okay, one more here. So, I to China this year. When? There. Okay, so have you have been, did you go, or was, have you gone? Okay, so we know we want to say, we're saying this year, right? So that would be um, something that's finished, right? So um, so would be was. We know that, right? Or actually, we got. Let me look at this. To China. We don't want to say was to. So it would we would have to use have been. We just didn't say when this year. Okay, um, so have been. Um, so if we're asking the details, we know we use past simple. So if you chose the second one, option B, have been, and did you go, that would be correct. I know it can be confusing sometimes when to use which one. All right, let's look at the third one real quick. Okay, this time we'll write the correct form for the verb in parentheses here. So, okay, so we be together since we be teenagers. Okay, so we we want the present simple, right? So have been, okay, since we tells the specific time. So were. Oops. All right. Number 2, since records we got begin in 1880, the global temperature rise 0.85 degrees Celsius. Okay, so naming a specific time, so past simple began. All right. Okay, and this one, okay, something that started since this happened. So we want present perfect. Okay, has risen 0.85 degrees Celsius. Okay, one more. Bennett is my best friend. I meet him at school and we be friends for 50 years. Okay, so All right, so we're talking about a specific time when we met Bennett, right? When the person met. Okay, so we want past simple. Met him at school and we. Okay, we're talking about a duration of time here, so we want what? Have been. All right. And it's still continuing here. Well, great job on these exercises. I know sometimes it's confusing on when to use past simple or present perfect, but hopefully all of this practice should have helped. Thanks for listening. Well, you can learn to speak English with more confidence with me. I am TESOL certified. I teach native U.S. English. I'm experienced in online tutoring, and I work with all learning levels and most age groups. So, whether you need help with grammar, speaking, vocabulary, or writing, or any other area, you've come to the right place. Well, thank you all for watching my video and happy learning.